If you know your top 5 Clifton strengths, but you don't know your Enneagram type, then this video is a great place to start, as I'm going to pick the 5 strengths that I believe best fit the general personality traits of each Enneagram type. Big emphasis on the word general. But before we dive in though, you should know that there are 2 major issues with this entire premise. First, every personality test is only as accurate as the person taking it. And when it comes to defining ourselves based on our top 5 strengths, we become incredibly biased because we're asking our insecure little ego to decide how we want everyone else to see us. Second problem, the Enneagram at its core is a tool for picking apart that insecure little ego so we can become more aware of our true self. It's a lot easier to pinpoint our flaws, failures, traumas, and weaknesses because they induce that cringe response that is an undeniable signal that we've tapped into something painfully true. All that to say, comparing Clifton's strengths to the Enneagram is sort of like comparing an executive life coach to a therapist. So why do it? Well, to spark this very conversation. Now, what I would love is for those of you that already know both your Enneagram type and your top 5 Clifton strengths to put your results in the comment section below. That way we can all see if any trends do exist between these 2 incredibly different systems. With that fun disclaimer out of the way, here are the top 5 strengths that I would expect to see somewhere in the results for each Enneagram type. Here are the top 5 Clifton strengths I would use to describe the personality of the Type 1 reformer. Belief. Ones possess core values that are unchanging. Out of these values emerge a defined purpose for their lives. I would say you can't really be a Type 1 reformer without belief somewhere in your top 5. Number 2, restorative. Ones are adept at dealing with problems. They are good at figuring out what is wrong and resolving it, or you could say, perfecting it. Number 3, responsibility. Ones take psychological ownership of what they say they will do. They are committed to stable values such as honesty and loyalty, and pretty much morality in general. Number 4, discipline. Ones enjoy routine and structure, and if there isn't any, then they'll definitely create it. And they have a distinct impatience for errors. Number 5, activator. Ones will make things happen by turning their thoughts or beliefs into tangible actions. They want to do things now rather than simply talk about them, which is this unique mixture of impatience and practicality. Next up, the Type 2 helper. Number 1, empathy. 2s can sense other people's feelings by imagining themselves in others' lives or situations. Number 2, positivity. 2s have contagious enthusiasm, especially if they've got that 3-wing. They're also generous with praise, quick to smile, and are always on the lookout for the positive in any situation. Number 3, woo. 2s love the challenge of meeting new people and then winning them over. They derive a unique satisfaction from breaking the ice and making a connection with someone, no matter how difficult or off-putting they seem on the surface. Number 4, relator. 2s definitely enjoy their close relationships with loved ones. They are perhaps the most relationally oriented of all Enneagram types. Number 5, developer. 2s recognize and cultivate the potential in others. They spot and often celebrate the signs of each small improvement and derive satisfaction from evidence of any progress whatsoever. Translation, they're great cheerleaders. Next up is the Type 3 achiever. Number 1, no surprise here, achiever. 3s are certainly hard workers that possess a great deal of stamina when it comes to their career goals or personal sense of success. Number 2, activator. 3s are known for their unending to-do lists and almost always turn thoughts or ideas into tangible actions. Number 3, strategic. 3s create alternative ways to proceed, which sometimes looks like cutting corners, but when faced with any given scenario, they can quickly spot the relevant patterns and issues that will help them make the most effective decision possible. Number 4, competition. 3s measure their progress against the performance of others. It may not be about beating the competition, but it is definitely about standing out from the crowd. Number 5, woo. 3s love the challenge of meeting new people and winning them over. It's often very similar to what 2s do, but it's in a more political or corporate setting. Think of it like 2s wanting to woo over individuals, while 3s want to woo over groups. Alright, next up is the Type 4 individualist. Number 1, connectedness. 4s have faith in the links among all things. They believe there are few coincidences and that almost everything has meaning. This makes 4s very ethereal and spiritual by nature. Number 2, empathy. 4s can sense other people's feelings by imagining themselves in other people's lives or situations. This is the high side of the 4's strong imagination, which, when aimed at another person, can make them very supportive and empathetic. Number 3, ideation. 4s are fascinated by their ideas, often as a way of avoiding real work at times, but in general, they are able to find connections between seemingly unconnected phenomena. This obviously pairs well with their strength of connectedness. Number 4, significance. 4s, especially in the workplace, need to feel like they're admired and seen as credible amongst their peers. In particular, they want to be known and appreciated for the unique strengths they bring. Emphasis on the word unique there. Number 5, context. 4s enjoy thinking about the past. Sometimes this is tinged with shame, and other times they use it to cultivate their sense of wisdom about the present moment. Next up is the Type 5 investigator. Number 1, intellection. 5s are characterized by their intellectual activity. They are introspective and appreciate intellectual discussions. This is also why most 5s hate small talk. Number 2, context. 5s enjoy thinking about the past, and they understand the present by researching its history. Number 3, input. 5s have a need to collect and archive. They may accumulate information, ideas, artifacts, or even relationships. Intellection and input are obviously a nice parallel as well. Number 4, ideation. 5s are fascinated by ideas. This is why many of the most famous inventors and scientists are Type 5 investigators, especially when you pair this with intellection and input. Number 5, analytical. 5s search for reasons and causes. They have the ability to think about all of the factors that might affect a situation. This is also why 5s are so good at being objective and rational when it comes to making decisions. Oh, hey there. Looks like you made it over a little halfway, which means you've either left the room and forgot this was still playing, or you're actually enjoying the content. If it's option B, then would you mind hitting those like and subscribe buttons down there for me? It really helps this content cut through all the noise out there on YouTube. And if you're already a subscriber, then just take this moment to bask in my appreciation for your continued support. Okay, enough with the self-promotion, let's get back to it. Next up is the Type 6 loyalist. Number 1, deliberative. 6s are best described by the serious care they take in making decisions, and they most certainly anticipate obstacles. Number 2, relator. 6s enjoy close relationships with others and find a deep satisfaction in working hard with friends to achieve a particular goal. 6s and 2s are definitely the most relationally oriented of all Enneagram types. Number 3, strategic. 6s often play out alternative scenarios and are always asking themselves, what if this happens? What if that happens? 6s accurately evaluate the potential obstacles in every option. Obviously a big parallel here with strength number 1, which was deliberative. Number 4, responsibility. 6s keep their promises and honor their commitments. They hate letting people down, so their word is their bond. Number 5, consistency. 6s are keenly aware of the need to treat people the same. They crave stable routines and clear rules and procedures that everyone can and should follow. Next up is the Type 7 enthusiast. Number 1, adaptability. 7s prefer to go with the flow. They tend to be now people who take things as they come and discover the future one day at a time. If you watched my relationship episode on the Type 7 enthusiast, then that should sound very familiar. Number 2, futuristic. 7s are inspired by the future and what could be. They energize others with their visions of the future. They often just need to make sure that this exciting vision of the future is rooted in realistic possibilities. Number 3, arranger. 7s are a shining example of effective flexibility. They like to determine how all the pieces and resources can be arranged for maximum productivity. They're probably great at packing up a car on a long road trip. Number 4, communication. 7s generally find it easy to put their thoughts into words, and they're great conversationalists and engaging presenters. Number 5, self-assurance. 7s feel confident in their ability to take risks and manage their own lives. They have an inner compass that gives them certainty in their decisions. Next up is the Type 8 challenger. Number 1, command. 8s have a strong presence, and they like to take control of a situation and be the one making the decisions for the group. This is one of those strengths that I would say, if you don't have it in your top 5, I would question if you're even an 8 at all. Number 2, maximizer. 8s focus on strengths as a way to stimulate personal and group excellence. They seek to transform something strong into something superb. Number 3, focus. 8s thrive on having a clear destination or a specific goal. They instinctively evaluate whether or not a particular action will help them move towards that goal and are distinctly impatient with delays, obstacles, or distractions. Number 4, competition. 8s measure their progress against the performance of others. 8s also like to push their physical limits and the limits of everyone else around them, hence the nickname, the Challenger. Number 5, significance. 8s want to make a big impact on their surroundings. They are independent and prioritize projects based on how much influence they will have on their organization or the people around them. Next up is the Type 9 peacemaker. Number 1, harmony. They really don't enjoy conflict and prefer to look for areas of agreement. Number 2, includer. 9s are great at accepting people as they are. They show an awareness of those who feel left out and want to make an effort to include them. Number 3, individualization. 9s are intrigued with the unique qualities of each individual person. 9s are also a keen observer of other people's strengths and can draw out the best in each person. This often looks like healthy 9s taking on the inspirational qualities of the Type 3 achiever in integration. Number 4, connectedness. 9s have faith in the links among all things. They believe there are almost no coincidences and that almost every event has meaning. This is why 9s are naturally spiritual, much like Type 4 individualists. Number 5, learner. 9s have a great desire to learn and want to continuously improve. The process of learning, rather than practical outcomes, excites them. This is why 9s can be lifelong learners, always getting new certifications or new degrees, rather than launching out into the world to do something practical with all the theoretical knowledge and training they've gained throughout their life. All right, those are my top 5 Clifton strengths for each Enneagram type. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please do me a little favor and hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. Also, don't forget to put your Enneagram type with your top 5 strengths in the comment section below if you happen to know both. Also, if you haven't watched my complete guides to each Enneagram type or my new Enneagram relationship series yet, then I would highly recommend diving into those next. Lastly, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time and attention, and I very much hope to see you again on another episode of You've Got a Type.